big data and tech-driven services, for which the first panelist is Mr. Avinash Samal, Head Training and Development, TCS Bhubaneswar. He will join us shortly. However, we have Mr. Bhanu Uday, Founder and CEO of Crystaller Aerospace Private Limited. Mr. Bhanu Uday, the founder and CEO of Crystaller Aerospace Private Limited, who is an innovative entrepreneur and a founder. He is actively involved in advancing aerospace innovation, emerging technologies, and startup-driven research initiatives whose journey reflects power of innovation, vision, and technological ambition. Mr. Bhanu Uday. Let's have a big round of applause for Mr. Bhanu Uday. Next, we have Mr. Akash Jaiswal, the CEO of Wubble Software, who is actively contributing towards aligning organizational goals with talent development and skill enhancement. May I request Mr. Akash Jaiswal, the CEO of Wubble Software. Let's have a huge round of applause. Yes, we have Mr. Avinash Samal, Head Training and Development, TCS Bhubaneswar. He is a seasoned corporate professional leading the training and development of Tata Consultancy Services. He is widely known as the rising sun of India's motivation and also a President Award-winning anchor and motivator, a dynamic motivator and inspirational corporate trainer. Let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Avinash Samal. Next, we have Mr. Arya Vedabrata, the CEO and co-founder of ByteIQ Analytics. With strong expertise in artificial intelligence, analytics, and emerging technologies, he has been instrumental in building technology-enabled business solutions. A huge round of applause for Mr. Arya Vedabrata. And to moderate this particular session, we have Mr. Durga Prasad Gowda, who is a CEO, AIC Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation. As a CEO, he has been actively involved in nurturing startups, promoting innovation ecosystems, and supporting young entrepreneurs. We are really honored to have him as a moderator of this panel discussion. Let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Durga Prasad Gowda. Audience, let's have a round of applause. With this note, I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Durga Prasad Gowda for the proceedings ahead. Over to you, sir.
Very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to all the panelists over here. I must congratulate the Honorable Vice Chancellor and his entire team who has organized this conclave, which is very futuristic in its own terms. The reason behind is that for a very long period of time, we have been always talking and discussing much about this huge gap, which has always been addressed as a gap between industry and academia. So to design a conclave which is all about industry and academia, in itself this thought is a champion thought. So thank you for inviting us here and to discuss on this very fascinating topic. In fact, as the announcer was saying, it's futuristic in its all terms. Moreover, many of you must be not knowing, maybe, and also I could understand completely with all the panelists here, that to conduct a panel discussion post-lunch is a very heavier task, because already the audience is full of lot of stuff from the morning, and there's a huge chance that the senses goes dozed off in a while. But we will try to make the topic as well as the discussion quite interesting so that it keeps your other senses active. At the cost of that, a very quick poll from the audience. How many of you know that when was this AI or artificial intelligence came into picture? Which was the year? A lot of young students, I believe, and faculties here. Before you go into Google and search about it, any random thoughts? Any year from the audience? Any idea? When did AI came into existence? So it's almost synchronous with the genesis of our country. It's 1950 when first machine learning concept came into existence, but then it had a lot of evolutions. And see, here in the 21st century only we came to know much about artificial intelligence, and now slowly it is taking over almost everything. So much so that any startup, any innovator who is coming up today wants to align everything of his business, nothing to but AI. And not just startups and entrepreneurs, like a few that we have on the stage, we have the governments also aligning them, saying that we will do much more about AI for governance. Odisha itself also has come up with a lot of policies in very recent days, which envisages that in what direction the entire policy mechanism or framework of the state is going to progress in the realm of AI. And mostly, if you see, we are among the first states which brought its own artificial intelligence policy, Odisha AI Policy 2025, which speaks about a very ambitious project of 20,000 crore, a sovereign AI park, from which these modern innovators working in the AI field will get benefited. Similarly, we also have our Odisha ICT Policy 2022, which you know has a lot of fixed reimbursements on fixed capital investments, R&D support up to 50% of R&D expenses. A lot of boost was given for the ICT sector to come up. There's one more very interesting policy which was brought in 2022, and we will be very soon seeing its revised version, which is Odisha State Data Center Policy. And we know today that data is the real wealth that we gather in this new entrepreneurial domain. And as all of you know, Startup Odisha, which have been active since 2016, has its own Startup Odisha policy, which supports with a lot of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives for the startups. This is from the government side which was done. But today we have all the important pillars over here who will interact with you and speak about their experiences from this domain of AI, big data, and tech-driven services. Before I start the discussion, we would, in a very nutshell, in a very crisp and brief manner, would, because already the introduction have been made, but still would like to know that when it comes to AI or big data or tech-driven services, if you could, in a very brief manner, just introduce what your company is doing about it and how are you aligning this important domain with what your enterprises are about. May we start with you, sir?
Thank you. I represent ByteIQ, and we primarily do AI services work. And of late, we are seeing a good traction when it comes to building products which are powered by AI. So as a company now, we are primarily focused on building AI products for our clients primarily, and then some of our own proprietary products are also underway.
Okay. Udayji.
So I represent Crystaller Aerospace. So we are into aerospace and defense. So past 2 years, we are running our operation in Odisha. And primarily our operation works with aerospace domain. We work on developing various satellite components. And defense side, we are into manufacturing and development of high-end cognitive EW solutions and radars.
Thank you. Akash.
So in our company, since we are a kind of career infrastructure platform, we try to make sure that how a professional is able to make sure that the recruiter understands what they are good at in the best possible way. through domain mapping, skill mapping, and what are the kind of roles that are actually trending in the market. So the candidate also knows that what I am good at based upon the market and what the recruiter is looking for. So the AI part is there only.
Avinash.
Jai Hind, all of you. Jai Hind, Amir sir. Glad to see you for the second time. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first disclaimer that I would like to give you all is I do not represent any company. I'm here to represent my nation, and I have, I am working, not working, I would say, charitably. I am performing for a trust that's the Rising Sun of India's Motivation. So, I'm trying to rise with it. And when we talk about AI, I will not talk, as I said, not any company specific, but on an eagle's eye view, we all are not only IT companies or some other companies within the bracket that we are serving the nation. It's agriculture, hospitality, health center. In every manner, we are some way or other using the big data to, circulate it or provide it in such a way through AI to maybe our farmers, a predictive farming that's happening. In every field, this big data and AI is playing a very, very crucial role, wherein we are focusing on governance very keenly today. Why? Because when you have big things, you have big chaos. When you have big data, you have a lot of things to look at, but you're not narrowing the view. So in order to narrow the view, a lot of security are in places, a lot of governance are in places. So along with the big data, along with the AI, the governance is there. So I would focus more on the governance so that anyone, let it be a layman, a farmer, whosoever is working on AI, with the big data, is not penalized while sharing the data. That's all.
Thank you. With this brief introduction, we'll start with our discussion here. Arya, my first question goes to you. In very recent times, we have been listening so much about AI. So much so that every other business speaks that I have some element of AI into it. With your vast experience in the domain of tech-driven services, which has also recently imbibed a lot of AI tools and everything, how do you see the entire landscape? There are a lot of students here, might be they have a question that are our curriculars, our training, our skills are all aligned for an AI-driven HR world?
So what I'm seeing in last 1.5 years is clients are, so there was a time when clients were unable to tell what to do. Okay, when it comes to data science, analytics, that's the world which we started in before AI emerged recently or been last 1.5 years. So client was not sure what exactly to do with the data. But there were problems which were right in front of them, but they always thought that these problems are very difficult to solve. And let me not try solving those problems, but those problems are the basic problems. For example, if you take any lending company, bank, or for that matter, let's say any microfinance company, there are a lot of manual work which happens. Okay, and those work is right in front of them. And they know that if they can automate those work, then there is a huge saving which they can see. But they never thought that those are possibilities. Okay, so that's why they would reach out to data science companies and ask, what is that interesting work you can do for me? Can you build some predictive model? Can you build some forecast model looking at my data? That was what it was 2 years back. But in last 18 months or so, I see clients are very particular about what they want, because those low-hanging fruits, but very difficult to convert those ideas into reality, have come to the fore. Now clients feel that these can be done. AI can solve this problem, and if this problem can be solved, I am going to immediately see some big saving. Because those ideas like a predictive model from my database, those are nice to hear, but will you really see some benefits out of it? It was always a doubtful.
So do you say that today your clientele understands AI-driven mechanisms much better? And today they are very precise with what they want, and AI is able to solve that goal?
Yeah, they're precise about their requirement, but whether AI can really solve that problem or not, that's a different thing, because there are challenges. There are things which even AI, in today's world, AI is unable to solve to the 100% level because regulation could be there. You cannot go wrong in 1% of the cases. So depending on the kind of industry and the kind of process you are trying to automate using AI, you can decide whether AI is going to really solve the problem 100% or not.
Thank you for that viewpoint, because it's very important to understand that are our businesses actually transforming into the realm of AI, or is it just a bubble out there?
No, it's the results are there. In some of the companies, we can see a lot of transformation which have already happened. If I take lending as a space, I am seeing companies which were doing loan origination in a manual mode. A bunch of people will be sitting, looking at the documents, reviewing the documents, and then processing those documents. Now they are able to use agentic AI platform to see that the things are automated. If I have to give some examples, recently we were working with NIC, where this education counseling system, that engineering counseling, where certificates are obtained from students, mark sheets are obtained from students, and then a person has to manually enter all the data into the system. So we have put in place an agentic AI system which can automate the process. So we are doing it for Odisha, but the results are so encouraging that they feel that this can be extended to the entire country. So results are there, but it all depends on what kind of domain you are using and what kind of risk you are dealing with. If 1%...
We'll come to the risks part a little later. Maybe I'll go to Uday. Services is one angle where AI seems to have a lot of predominance right now. But to a very tech sensitive and a very deep tech intensive domain that you are into, which is aerospace, with Crystaller, your experience, whatever it has been, how is our manufacturing sector responding to this AI big data domain? And at the same point of time, has been there a breakthrough for yourself into this domain?
Yes, sure. So, being a deep tech company, most of our time goes into R&Ds. So, 80% of efforts get into R&D, and then we come to a conclusion with a product which will be available for the entire industry. So, when you talk about R&D, the role of AI is it is helping us taking the product to the market very soon. The biggest contribution of AI in our industry is that we could see the reality very fast. It provides us multiple options. Like, for example, like, aerospace, you can have a predictive maintenance for the product which is available for consumer to be used. So when you develop a product, you create an entire predictive maintenance chart for the similar product. At the same time, you can create a digital twin also. While the aircraft or the particular product is in flying, the same time you can see how the entire machine is behaving on the ground. So you can create a digital twin. So if I think about AI, it gives us additional options to fine-tune the product. It provides us multiple options to explore the product. At the same time, it also predicts a future of the innovations.
The simulations have become easier.
Future of the innovations. So from an innovation point of view, AI has contributed a lot. However, the decision still remains with us that what would be the best product for the market and what would be the life cycle of the product. Like, it's not going to change the dynamism of the industry, but at the same time, it gives you multiple options to choose.
Okay. Yeah. With that perspective, listening from services and manufacturing, Akash, I'm sure that a lot of the students here sitting and listening to us would be in a dilemma that which we listen in the corridors of common people discussion also, that if AI is replacing a lot of jobs, you're working in a field of HR and looking at the new gen workforce coming up, how do you see this sector? How is AI trying to disrupt the entire human workforce model?
So I would say that I'm just giving one example how it has transformed in the last 2 to 3 years. Earlier, the amount of work that we were doing were needed around 20 developers, and now the same task is done by 4 to 5 developers at the same time with better accuracy. So obviously we can't say that AI is completely a bubble. Obviously it is solving something, but the problem is now, since we have more power, every prompt that we give is now should be more responsible. One wrong prompt can obviously completely destroy the production. Hello. Yeah. So one wrong prompt can destroy an at once. So now the developer who is there has to be very specific what he wants from the AI. He should understand what is the impact of that. So, but at the same time, there is one shortcoming that junior developers or the people who are entering into the market do not have a space to understand, because the one who are experienced will use good prompt and get good results, but at the same time the junior people who are just entering into the industry have to face more challenges.
No, maybe they have come much more equipped with the kind of environment which they have been gone through in their academics or through other training purposes. But with the existing workforce that we have, are we cataclysmically trying to elude them off the system? Do you see that the previous job roles and those things going entirely away?
Obviously, a lot of job roles are there which are going. Just for an example, developers who are just developing the front-end part. Front-end engineers are no more relevant, because one prompt with the Figma MCP, if someone is a developer would understand, if we set up one MCP, give the design to the code, it's completely converted to code within 4 to 5 minutes. So now front-end designers role, developers role have decreased, but at the same time, roles which needed more decision-making part, the DevOps part, how the infrastructure would work, that roles have been increased. So I think this is not about what roles are going, whether the job is increasing or decreasing, but we have to understand that the person who are upskilling themselves and reskilling themselves will find their role in a different way.
Okay.
The old role might not exist, but they have to go for a newer role with time.
And do you think that change will be a swift turnover?
No, that is not going to be smoother. The universities and we people have to make sure that it can be as smooth as possible. Because the newer generation is already equipped, they will be equipped. But the current generation who have just joined the industry, they are facing the major challenges.
A little scary take on that, but I'll with that move to Avinash. Avinash, from people to let us talk a little bit about data, which you also mentioned in your introductory remarks. Big data analytics, data scientists, these are some of the very newer terms that have come over a decade. How do you see, because with your past experience in TCS also, big data is the new wealth that every nation possesses to have. How do you see the impact of that?
See, when you talk about TCS, it's not a past, it's the present with me. However, this is something I'm doing extra and I do not publicize it. Now, answer to your question. When we talk about big data, or when we talk about how do the academies integrate with this particular change that you came across through Akash, and of course it is indeed a drastic change. I will give this explanation with an example which goes back to the Stone Age, then to the age of computers, and now today we are at AI bubble. So on this type of Stone Ages, when there is no means or mention to transport any heavy object from one place to another, what did people used to do? They used to take help of mammoths. They used to take help of big animals to pull it across. Gradually, all of a sudden, a human being or Adi Manav realizes that a ball kind of structure rolls down a mountain, which was way too easy. Then he sits and broods over it, how it can be developed towards the utilization of Homo sapiens. Correct? So in this process of evolution, a wheel was developed, which gradually gave a lot of livelihood to the mammoths and the other big animals. Similarly, when computers came, you remember those era? I was in school. We used to call it a big white box. In secretariat, I had my relatives who were in secretariats, secretary positions, under secretary, ASOs, SOs. So they had a big challenge. Je babu, dako lekhu lekhu, अभी फोटो स्कैन करी कंप्यूटर रे अपलोड करिबा को पड़िबो. I hope everybody understands Surya. Forgive me if you don't. But this process gradually was a very difficult process for those old school people, with due respect, but to the old school people to learn it, upgrade it, and understand how do they scan a piece of DACO or a diary into a file, into an e-file, upload it, then the process go through, stepwise in a flowchart, maybe to the CM office or maybe to the required point of action. Now, similarly, these kind of things are going to happen in AI as well, are already happening in AI. Big data we talk about. What is big data?
But what is so big about this data?
What is so big about this data? Now we talk about, I'll touch upon the HR factor. You talked about HR. How are HR generalists or new HR members are going to come up with it, right? Correct? Earlier what used to happen? You used to have a set of report which you pull in, you decentralize it or create a dashboard for a particular business group or for a particular branch or team, and then give the instructions to work for it.
Correct.
Now, one person or a team of people drag global data, sort it out, clean it up. What's happening here? The voracity or the density of the data is increasing voraciously, which is landing up people and making mistakes. AI has not completely grown up to a godly level where it will have no mistake, correct? So that kind of generational learning can only happen for the, as Akash very nicely said, it is a struggle for the freshers, for the newcomers. What are we calling it? We are calling it industry academia conclave. These days we are talking a lot about industry and academic collaboration. But how much is that happening? And this is the time that it really needs to take place and come into action, wherein people from the industry, from the corporate, walk down the lanes of the campuses and create a curriculum along with their degrees, wherein they start making them understand what do the organization need, what the clients need, live case studies, or used cases.
No, absolutely.
That will help a lot.
I think a lot of the breakthrough has been done through the new education policy also in the place, which envisages a lot of this vision into the system. But Arya, do you believe that so much talks around data and precisely big data when we talk about the analytics end, but when it comes to the user end, we always keep on sharing a lot of data with the apps, on the platforms, on everything. With that in place and the DPDP as a concern, the data privacy and data protection policy, how do you think that data today, what significance does it hold, and in particularly IT and tech-driven services?
I think data has always been considered as an asset. Okay, with AI coming to the fore, I think the focus on data has gone many notches up, but data has always been considered an asset, and how do you manage your asset is very important. Okay, so you cannot just keep your asset in public domain and expect that nobody will mess around with your asset. So it is always important to see that your asset is well protected. Whether we brought the act or we did not bring the act, doesn't matter. Act is just a formality, I can say, or you
a regulating measure.
You are telling that now it is important.
Yes.
Okay, but it was always important. Companies were taking it seriously. Now, how do you categorize your data? Like you have a lot of information about your customer in your database. But at the same time, when you want to analyze your data, you want to use that data for any kind of AI model build, or you want to train your AI model with that data, or you want AI model to be to interpret that data and give you some information, then what is that you are sharing with AI becomes important. And what kind of AI model you have in place with which you are sharing your data. If the model is privatized, it is within your premises, it's fine. But when you bring it on-prem, then you are cutting it off from the internet world. So model is not getting trained post the onboarding which you have done. So it is important to know what you are going to lose by privatizing the model. And if you are using public models, then you need to be careful about what exactly you are sharing. Okay, without sharing customer name or customer address, will I get the desired output from my model or not? Okay, if not, then how do I encrypt the data and get what I want from the model, and then I decrypt the data and use it in my decision making.
So in current times, a small interruption to what you are making the point is that even for the data to be managed and controlled, what kind of landscape is today prevailing in the country? Do we have enough data centers? Do we have enough indigenous data centers and upkeep models here?
So data centers, I think the rate at which data is getting generated, I think it is always going to be a challenge to have enough data centers to house the data. So that's the reason why you see all the big companies are investing big time on data centers. If you look at the recent investment of Google in Andhra Pradesh, was all about housing the data. So now there was a talk that India is being used to just house the data. Is it what we really want? We want to become the place where data is stored, but the models are getting developed in advanced countries. So there is no end point when it comes to the amount of data the country will be okay to have or country can manage. It is going to grow. Today it is India, tomorrow it could be Africa, where data have to be housed. But yeah, this is going to be a big problem, and to be honest, if you ask me, it is important for any country to understand what is that data which is relevant to be stored. You cannot endlessly keep storing every piece of information about a customer. Nobody wants to drop that data because they think that I will lose the competitive edge, but at some point we have to think about the environment. We have to think about the real value we are going to get out of data, because without real value, why to store? But in today's world, nobody is looking at the value. Let's store it. We don't know when we will get a value. So I think there should be a point where countries should come together and decide that, yeah, let's put some kind of stop on the amount of data we generate.
And probably what the most of the audience would be interested in, all the data that we make public ourselves, the minimum data that we provide to these kind of portals, are we sure enough that they are all well encrypted?
We are not sure. Nobody can assure you that, even though you sign the agreement.
Even that signing, we don't have a prerogative, because it's all I agree and continue.
Yeah. So you don't know what is the real scenario behind those agreements which you sign, whether they are really protecting your data. But yeah, at the same time, they know that the kind of fines they will be staring at if they are unable to preserve your data the way it should be. They know those repercussions, and they are taking all the measures. But at the same time, any cybersecurity attacker with a wrong mindset can definitely hack into the system and take the data out and make an organization.
So we still are at the crunch.
That risk is always there, because hackers are always ahead of us.
Yeah, correct.
So you can never match their speed. You have to do catch up. But by the time you catch up, they have gone many steps ahead.
And the technology these days is so dynamic to progress.
So in one way, we are saying AI we can use to manage cybersecurity infrastructure of an organization, or do better monitoring of cybersecurity risk. At the same time, hackers are using AI to see how they can penetrate the organization.
They can benefit out of it, yeah. But when it comes to handling this data in a sector like yours, and we have always spoke about a lot of talent crunch in the deep tech startup sector or something. How do you see this amalgamation or this coherence between aerospace and AI coming together, and a workforce being ready for that? Because we talk about, as Avinash was also mentioning, about the industry and academia. Today, when you see not just BPUT but other universities across the span, are our academic breeding grounds ready for this process of aerospace and AI coming together?
So you rightly pointed out. So I'll put three different perspectives. Let me first start student point of view. Lately, I started interacting students when they used to come to our company for intensive. So the one thing I discovered while I was interacting with them is that the research part is absolutely missing from a student side. Today we are talking about AI will take the jobs, AI will take these, AI will do that. But the only thing, from a student point of view, this is my view on the student point of view. If you are doing research, your mind is a research-oriented mind. You will never face this challenge. Most of the people comes to us when they appear for the interview. You get 3-page CVs, 2-page CVs. But what we look from industry point of view is that how much is the research in the CV? research is something a deep tech company looked into any student CV, and my experience so far after 2 years operation in Bhubaneswar and 2 years operation in the Bangalore, the research component is almost less than 2.5%.
Oh.
Okay, so people comes with so many languages, they know this, they know this, they know that, but they have done this project, they have done this internship, but when you ask like how much research you have done, it is absolutely zero or at the max 2.5%. Or 2.5% of research knowledge, if come to the industry, like it is, we are bound to fail. So our problem from an industry point of view is that we need student with 100%, at least not possible, 80% research mindset who comes with research on various.
So it's a completely inverted model you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying 80% of research they should come up.
Correct. So if they come, I mean, they got 4 years in a graduate course, in an engineering course. I think 1 year, it has to be mandatory to do research in some of the areas which they like or they are into. Okay, that will give them so much of strength.
Or at least an exposure to the real industry or field that they have been.
It is surprised to see that they have absolutely negligible experience in the lab. You know, if you do an audit I mean, I'm sorry for making this statement, but this is a fact, and this is the big problem with the industry. The student comes with lack of lab experience.
Hands-on experience.
Yeah, they don't have a proper lab experience on their field. It's basically the book and the exam. And the book or exam is not good for any industry. I mean, for us to survive, I need somebody who can spend time on research, because that is how our deep tech companies are. Our survival is dependent on research mind. And I'm saying, like, you know, and when you look into the ground reality, it's a big time missing. So when you ask me how to design a course curriculum, I will go away with the course curriculum. I'll more focus on the lab. I think we should have regional lab, we should have a demographical lab spread across Odisha, starting from AI to avionics to aerospace, and a lot of other technology. I mean, even for agriculture also, you need a proper research mind to survive and sustain in agriculture domain. But you know, these things are missing. So more than course curriculum, I think if you ask me, my focus area would be having a high-tech lab when the student can explore their mind, experimenting so many things about technology, and when come to the and interact with us or appear for grabbing a space in our industry or any other industry, they demonstrate the research knowledge, and that will make them sustainable, survivable for future days to come. The only way we can survive the human race by research, nothing else. AI will come. AI is just a technology. I can say AI is just a tool. It's just a tool. Human is like real. The tool can only survive and help the human life when you have a research on the tool. So, like, you know, my request to VC sir and all the educationists over here, please have a best of the best lab. Spend decent amount of investment in the lab so that your student can spend more time in the lab than in the classroom. And you know, that is another side of it. If you have a better lab, your faculty member is also get opportunity to explore those labs, which means when they come to the classroom to take a class, they are also well equipped with the global knowledge base.
In that case, does the industry today with the AI intrusion is having more peaceful or more sleepless nights?
Industry, you know, being in industry, we need to survive. So we have to be in peace. But we get disturbed when we need more and more manpower for our. Like if I talk about our company or in the aerospace industry, but let me talk about our company. We need 300 people in next 6 months. And where
I think that's an interesting
where
number
I'll get
for
this 300 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go to each and every so far the latest experience, out of 500 we hardly get one, you know. So that is the ratio today we are running. So I'm not saying unemployment is the issue. The issue is the research-based knowledge. We have given more time and focus to upskilling, I don't know, upskilling, downskilling, further skilling. I say only do the research and keep on doing research. You don't have to enhance your skills. Your skills will be automatically enhanced if you are doing a constant and consistent research. So I think we should dedicate more time and money on the research only.
But Akash, I think you have a trouble over there.
I don't have a trouble, but sir is talking in sense of his company that research is required in a lot of tasks, but there are many such organizations and many such industry where research is the primary thing. If we talk about biotechnology, medicine, a lot of research is required. But the background when we are talking about BTech students or maybe MCA students, the kind of infrastructure, the kind of exposure that they need is the problems that are coming from the real industry. Because I think today also there are courses which are not relevant to the industry anymore. So for fundamentals we study, just for example, for fundamentals we study C, C++, and I think it's important to study. But there are no industry who is directly using C, C++ until and unless 1 or 2% of the industry.
So you suggest more of applied models of courses?
I think there should be a direct supply of problems, real life problems coming from the industry to the institutions. Because we can't create a solution of the problem that was 10 years ago. We are solving.
Maybe that's a take right now. And we know that in India, the curricular change process is a little time span evolving process. But at the same point of time, as you now know that the industries are optimizing their labor models as per the recent necessities and all, how do you see the HR scenario changing over there? Because you handle a lot of students, I think many of these mentors and students who are all onboarded at your platform, how are they responding to these new labor models?
So in the this 2025, we placed around 14 to 1500 students in the tech industry. The tech industry is not willing to see anything which is self-claimed. Now
Which is self-claimed.
Which is self-claimed. Now, if you go to ChatGPT and say that I want to prepare a resume for this job, it will give you words which the recruiter will get impressed. But at the same time, after 2 to 3 resumes, he or she will get to know that all of them are bringing it from ChatGPT. So there is a very, the trust factor is broken. Now they say that, okay, keep aside the resume, tell me what you have made. What is the problem that you have solved? And if someone is solving smallest of a problem and it is reliable that, okay, he or she has figured out the problem themselves, then the industry is happy. Industries don't want them to be very intellectual. They just want to be ethical. They want them to be solving the real life problem by themselves, and they actually don't have any problem with using AI. Students think that if I am using AI during my exam, colleges might have problem because the structure of the exam is like that. Industries don't have problem because they will give you internet, they will give you paid Claude subscription.
So do you say that what we have been saying for a long time about human resource is now more of an AI resource?
Obviously, we have AI resources. Just for a fact, in our company also we give Claude subscription to all the employees. So the thing is, you have to utilize and be prepared that, okay,
how do we address this problem that we have very little of the human element of this resource left, if everything is going to be all driven by AI?
The only way that you push people, I mean, particularly the students, I think for the master degree, we should make it mandatory that if you don't publish a paper, you are not going to get your master degree. Okay. Some way I'm changing a course curriculum is a long-term activities. Doing some changes in the system is also going to time. Without making all those changes, just by simple small changes, we can motivate students to do research on some subject, publish the paper, in a global forum. If you make this as a practice now, like let's just do it today. Okay, you push your student to do all these things. You can see the changes in a month.
But taking it a step ahead, we don't see a much of a solution coming just by publication of papers, but maybe those research transforming themselves into workable products and models also.
it is going to be a practice, and that practice is going to help them, to more object-oriented in a professional life. When they see an industry, when they visit an industry and appear for an interview, or they want to showcase that these are the strength will replicate from their research mindset.
But with all this discussed, Avinash, I would like to have your idea throwing a little more light upon a very grey domain, which is about skilling. Skilling such a huge mass of people. When we say that by 2030, with the growth model that every government is today laying out, we require almost a 70% of the existing workforce getting upskilled or reskilled. How is that going to happen? What is the role of AI in that? Would you like to speak a little on that?
Definitely. See, I would very much echo what Sir said, as well as an amalgamation of what Akash said. Why so? Why so? See, all the fields are not the same. There could be different fields in which AI has a different role to play. Correct? So we cannot just focus upon one particular field and say that here we need research and here we need reskilling or upskilling. It depends on, it is absolutely a SOS, situation based. For a person who is working in a Central Rice Research Institute, I cannot tell him go and write coding for me. Correct? He will rather...
Maybe not coding. The sense
he will
is
look
that
into
does
the
he
weather
have
forecast.
some kind of skilling which is required in a futuristic sense?
What are those skills? Those skills may be reading the weather,
Yeah,
reading the soil,
absolutely.
reading the kind of grain they are producing. What is it going to give to the
Some
nation?
kind of precisiveness into the agriculture
Exactly.
domain.
So
yeah.
the research, reskilling and upskilling stands different for different people, for different profession.
Of course.
So, saying that, okay, I'll just like to deviate a bit and ask question to the students. How many of you have attended my session? Anyone here? I see some in the backstage, but anyone here? Okay, great, sir. Thank you. So, if you remember, I always keep saying one thing. Stay market relevant, which will again go back to sir and echo a little about research. How and what? I'll explain in brief in just 2 minutes. Today, I will tell you, become data scientists, become data engineers, become solution architects or prompt engineers. Okay, fair enough. That's the demand of what? Today. If I look back yesterday, what was the demand? Become software engineers. Make sure that you do computer science engineering or information, IS engineering and all that stuff. But tomorrow, is it going to stay the same? Of course not. The time is changing. Farming is changing. The way of treatment, I did a treatment for my father who had a brain tumor. In my insurance, company insurance, there was a terminology which is completely evaded or had been come out from this medical terms. But it was still there in the insurance policy, wherein the doctor wrote that there is no such procedure of open brain surgery. We have to do it endoscopic from the nose. So that is the level of evolution that's happening. So reskilling, upskilling is absolutely required. Without
And
it,
how do we do it?
how will you do it? You have to, as I said, academies have their own curriculum. New NEP, new curricula are coming up. With due respect to that, to make the people, to make the students industry ready, what is required? Just not talking about it, but taking action. Industry and academia collaboration, wherein industries walk in.
But do industries open their gates for getting people skilled in their industries?
It's happening. It's happening across. It's not only with one or two companies, but many companies are going to the industry. Sir might be knowing it very well, Amir sir. So, industries are going to campuses, taking classes. For example, we are a pack of associates or engineers in a particular MNC. Two of you, maybe Arya and Durga goes to, Saturday classes or Friday classes, 2 hours, 3 hours. There's a particular curriculum set from the industry who takes the classes and make sure there is a leakage here. What is the leakage? That if you people you are from one organization and Arya, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Arya is from another organization. You both come to, give your training stuff and everything, but at the end of offering, who gives the better package, they goes to, no, I mean the student chooses that company. Now here is the leakage. How do they bridge this gap? How do the industry bridge the gap? Is while training them, you offer them, tie them up with yourself so that the leakage does not happen.
So we should be thinking about newer recruiting models.
Absolutely. New recruiting models. What's happening? The recruiting models are also very, very redundant. The same, tell me something about yourself, some technical questions, TRMR rounds, and you're done. How do you even judge you are hiring a good person? I have been training lakhs of people, hundreds and thousands of people across the globe. And trust me, I have seen people in numerous companies, people have been hired. Let's suppose Akash, no offense, brother. So Akash has been hired as a resource with a high package, with a high skill, high talent, okay? 10 lakh. When he comes to talk to me and address his problem, he's not able to ask one simple line of English. Forget about English. I ask him to write a code. He cannot. How is he hired? What is happening with the hiring system? Whom are we blaming? A root cause analysis is required for this to make sure that the seed that we are putting in the soil, the quality not only of the soil, but the seed is also good.
Okay.
And the soil, the nature, the nourishment, everything has to be so collaborative. See, sitting here, talking over the stage, you and I coming up, discussing heavy, hefty matters, and then going back home, and this discussion or these agenda taking a back seat will definitely not work out. We need some certain, some
Actionable,
cap holders or
yes.
hat holders
Yes.
who come out, make this happen.
But
not only from academics,
But from
also
those
industries.
dark clouds, I'll come to Arya again for some silver lining. If you were to suggest a college student here, a UG or a PG guy, what would be the immediate steps they should be doing in order to align themselves with the industry, which is rapidly going through all these changes? Maybe not just one we are talking about, but whatever the evolution coming across Industry 4.0 and all, what would be the immediate thing they should be doing today?
I think from tech world perspective, AI world perspective, I am seeing a very huge traction when it comes to building platforms or products.
Yeah.
Because companies have started realizing with availability of AI, these platforms can be built very fast. So that's what we are seeing. And to build platforms, the kind of skills that are required is going to be important. So students should be focusing on the skills which are important to build a product. So it can be product engineering, which might consist of back-end, front-end engineering, back-end engineering, design thinking. AI engineering is becoming a very key component of any product we are building. Apart from that, the deployment side of the product, where cloud engineering, DevOps, those things are important. And at the same time, looking at the security aspect of the product, where cybersecurity skills are important. So if I have to tell students to focus on skills, then these are the skills they can focus on, depending on what is of interest to them. If they like AI, they can focus on AI engineer or AI engineering as a career. If they like user experience and user interface stuff, they want to be part of customer journey, then they can be very good UI UX developer, or whatever. If they want to focus on backend engineering, they can focus on Java, Python to see how backend engineering is as strong as front-end engineering, so that the entire product is successful. So these are the skills which students should focus on.
But do you think that on the industry side also that this transition have come, that whether they should look for a good coder or a good programming language expert, or they are happy with one who is a good prompt writer?
No. I think from my perspective or our company perspective, we would still look for people who are
Core skills.
who are good at coding themselves. When we go for any campus hiring, we have our own hackathon, and in that we ensure that people are not using any AI tools. I know when they come on the ground, they will be using AI tool, but when we are picking them from the campus, we want to ensure that they know how to code themselves.
Okay.
Because that's how you get good people. Because
Correct.
because as sir was talking about research mindset, which is very critical for a country like us when we have so many students. I think from
that critical
service
mass of,
mindset, we
yes.
should move towards product mindset, and research is a key component of product mindset. And people with that ability to think outside of the box, people with the ability to think big picture, they are important in the ecosystem, and those can be evaluated based on how good they are in solving the problem,
Okay.
or not just copying the solution from AI tools, but what about what kind of thought process they have put in before they came out with the solution. Do they really understand the flow that is there in the solution? They can explain the solution. So those are important things.
Okay. But on the same go, if we see about a little more about the futuristic sense of things happening, maybe in aerospace and in other likewise manufacturing product-based domains, how do you see in the next 5 years this entire landscape changing?
I think for next 5 years, we should focus more on quantum computing. And in Odisha, we don't have any quantum lab. Maybe sir is here, he can put forward a proposals. We can have it in World Skill Center, we can have it in BPUT campus. We should have at least one quantum lab for the entire Odisha. So we can provide opportunity to the student to experiment many things, because that's the future. Because today the future encryption technologies, future avionics or future space technologies, all are going to be quantum safe or quantum resilience. So thinking that as a future, I think we should have at least one lab, and we should put forward one proposal to have a lab in Odisha for the entire student community of Odisha. And it also give a perspective to all the faculty members, whoever they are associated with various colleges and universities, to also explore their knowledge, and they can also pass on to the students. I think that should be one area I think we should focus, which is the future for the next 5 to 10 years, I think.
Absolutely true. And for the benefit of the academicians here, Odisha has already missed the bus in two of the very significant national missions. One is National Mission on Quantum Computing, and the other one is National Mission on Integrated Cyber Physical Systems. These two areas are very, very critical to the evolving technological domain, which we should be keenly looking at. But with that, I'll come to something which the students here would be much more interested into, Akash. We just don't learn through tools and all, but if you were to suggest 2-3 AI tools which would make them a little not just tech savvy but AI savvy, then maybe what Akash is using in a day-to-day life or something.
So I'll give you two small examples of using AI, and then you can use the another one, the second way for every task that we use, that we teach to our onboarding employees also. So there are two ways to give prompts to any of the models right now. First, open ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Kimi and tell them that, okay, I want to make an app for this thing. That is the, something which a coder won't recommend. The another way, while you are developing a prototype or a product, instead of doing that, go ahead, first say that, act as a senior developer, give them a role. Now ask, what are the things I should keep in mind when I am developing a solution for this problem? Prompt it properly, make it that particular role, signify the importance of that app, and then ask what will be the tickets. Like senior developers get tickets to solve every problem. Now tell that I want to develop tickets for each of the solutions. If you have used Jira, assign the Jira MCP and ask them to make the whole tickets. Now you don't have the software, but you have a completely organized system of developing that software. Now connect it with Git and solve one ticket by ticket. So the AI will put all its intelligence to solve a particular problem, and that will be precise. Instead of just one prompt to generate the whole application, like lovable.dev and everything have shown. But we use this kind of protocol for design, for development, and also for documentation. All the three sectors we use this kind of process.
So maybe these things will get them a hands-on exposure on the
Obviously, the
part.
quality of the output will increase exponentially.
Correct. Avinash, towards the end, we talk about, as you also in the beginning said, a lot about public governance and governments coming up, putting out policies, giving incentives and all. Could you lay out a few looking at the Vision 2030 that the stage sees or the 2047 Viksit Bharat thing? How do students align themselves to this thing? How do government, academia, industry, all of them put their minds, and what's that vision you see in the skilling domain or maybe in this particular field?
When I see Viksit Bharat, I see my India wherein no village remains untouched. No farmer does not know how to fill up a form online. No village is there who does not know what AI is. Arey, kaun hai AI babu? Ki kotha koucho? Of course not. No farmers talk like that. That will be real Viksit Bharat. And students, there are a lot of students who are...
Tell them 2-3 sectors which you see has a boost into AI.
2-3 sectors, first two things I have already said, data science and data engineering is of course a booming word for all of you, all the students. See, the next one is some empathetic sector, which AI will never touch. And when I say empathetic sector, what it is a sector related to social work, NGOs, wherein you step out of your comfort zone and try to pull your nation from a dark area where it is untouched. I am myself trying to do that with a foundation named as the Rising Sun of India's Motivation. Maybe I'm going to register it very soon. And this particular step for any student would evolve in such a way that AI cannot, AI cannot touch you, or what should I say? I'm not getting the term. AI cannot shiver your platform, or AI absolutely cannot, make you traumatized that my job is going to go away. Because empathy is something, and this social work that I'm talking about to bring up the farmers, or go to the villages and make sure, what are the villages, adopt some villages, create a foundation, adopt some villages, make sure that changes are there. Every little child loitering around there in the ponds, in the dirty mud, are educated. The literacy rate of India goes to the peak. If that can be done, and that, trust me, can only be achieved by students, if they step out, because the kind of fire a student has, we all, our ministers, our politicians talk a lot about youth empowerment, youth power. Why do they talk about this? Because they know it very well that the fire that the youth has, it can absolutely illuminate the whole world, not only our Indian society. And that is how our Viksit Bharat will raise its flag. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much on the concluding.
Sir, wanted to add one more sector into that. With coming AI, the computational requirement of our devices have increased so much. So if someone can take this, we should take over that semiconductor challenge and make sure that laptops have more computational power.
Great. All great inputs from our panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Today for the evening, for the second panel that we had on AI, big data and tech-driven services, lot of inputs. I believe much of the students, academicians and people around would have got a lot of inputs, a lot of food for thought. Maybe we have done very little and very late, but we are all moving in a very synchronous domain, and idea is a very simple one, that we want to see the country and our state developed, definitely with a precise timeline, but at the same point of time, the gap that we started with between industry and academia is going to shrink, because with such efforts from the university and a lot many other platforms out there, we are joining hands and we are all coming together to offer you the best in terms of the technology that is evolving, the products or the services that are coming up. But the one thing which is very, very necessary from the students' domain is to acquire knowledge. As much as you know more about it, you prevail with a sense of doing it also. So thank you so much for a very patient listening. Post-lunch, I could see a lot of questions out there, but for the paucity of time, maybe we will not be able to take them now. Please try to connect with each of the panelists down the stage. Thank you so much for a patient listening. And once again, BPUT, thank you so much for organizing this conclave and giving all of us an opportunity to share our views. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank Thank you to the esteemed moderator and distinguished panelists for such an engaging, insightful, and future-ready discussion on AI, big data, and tech-driven services. Well, may I now respectfully invite Honorable Vice Chancellor, BPUT, Professor Dr. Amay Kumar Rath, to kindly grace the dais and felicitate the esteemed moderator and the distinguished panelists. The team is ready. To start with, may I request the Vice Chancellor, sir, to kindly felicitate Mr. Avinash Samal, the Head Training and Development, TCS Bhubaneswar. Let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Avinash Samal. We have Mr. Bhanu Uday, the founder and CEO of Cristello Aerospace Private Limited. Let's have a big round of applause for Mr. Bhanu Uday. Thank you so much, sir. Next we have Mr. Akash Jaiswal, the CEO of Wubble Software. Let's have a big round of applause. Next, we have Mr. Arya Devabrata, CEO and co-founder of Byte IQ Analytics. Let's have a huge round of applause. Last but not the least, the esteemed moderator, Mr. Durga Prasad Gowda, the CEO, AIC, Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation. Let's have a big round of applause to all the panelists and the moderator of panel discussion 2. Extremely thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Biju Patnaik University of Technology, Rourkela. Thank you so much. We would take a short preparatory time. Thank you. To start the next panel discussion, we will take a short